come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's
puertas.
a wild ride in the whistle.
When indiscreet doors change.
So today on Miles from Main Street, we are going to be talking about your tips. I was out on Facebook and got some tips from you guys, and we're going to review those and see what you guys think. Mikhailo is once again busy with other things in his life, so I am here with my beautiful wife helping me out. Tammy, thanks for joining me.
Hello, everyone.
So before we get started, I have a couple of housekeeping items. We heard from Caitlin. She wanted to let us know that she just loves to listen to the podcast and falls asleep to it every night. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I hope we don't put you guys to sleep. I'm sure she's just happy to hear from us and listen. So, Caitlin, thank you so much for the feedback. I really am glad that you're enjoying the show. Thank you. We also got a review out on Apple over the weekend. It was from 3445GHT, 5-star review saying, "Awesome, love all the Disney talk." Thank you for that review. That's great that you guys are enjoying it, and thank you for leaving the review. Guys, please head out to Apple Podcasts and leave a review out there if you're enjoying the show. Before we move on, the last thing I wanted to mention was we really need some help with you guys. If you're enjoying the show, please go out and share it with your friends. Let them know that we're doing a great job here, and they should come along and listen as well. So, Tammy, what do you think? Should we get on to these tips? I think there's some really good ones.
Sure, let's go.
All right, so our first tip is from Donna Kirby. She wanted to let us know that we should go knowing you are going to wait in line. It's going to be hot, most likely, and that depends on the season. Like right now, July, it's been hot down there. I think it's been hot across the country, but it's been pretty warm even before that down there. It's going to cost a lot, she wanted to let you know. But at the same time, you are going to feel and love the magic at the most magical place on earth. Completely agree, Donna. It is going to be hot, like I said. You are going to wait in line, but hopefully you can skip some of those lines using Genie Plus. And it is a magical place.
The only other thing I was going to add is that's one thing that's awesome about Disney is you may have to wait in line, but their queues are set up to try to entertain you and your children. Some of them have interactive things. And another thing we always like to do is put the Disney Heads Up game on our phone and play that while we're standing in line. Our kids like to do that. And a tip for keeping cool is to get a couple of those cooling towels to put around your neck. Those seem to help a lot.
Yeah, I love those cooling towels. That's a great idea. The Heads Up game, that's great to have. When you are in the parks, Heads Up actually unlocks a Disney version that you can play. And we've been able to play it a little bit when we get home, but then eventually that gets pulled. So something specific and exclusive to being in line at Disney is playing some Heads Up. And also playing... They have the Play Disney app, which Disney puts out. So try that one as well. You may find some things within queues that you can interact with if you're on that Play Disney app. Along the lines of standing in lines, Bridget wanted to let you guys know to get there at rope drop. Rope drop, for those of you that don't know, is the term for getting there right at open. They used to actually have cast members holding a rope, and when it was time to head back to the rides, they would drop the rope. So that's where the term comes in. So yeah, get there at rope drop right in the morning, and have a plan as to where you want to go. That'll help you get a lot done in the morning. And with that, plan ahead. Robin wanted to let everybody know you should plan ahead. Do we do a lot of planning ahead?
Brian definitely does. He's got apps he uses to help him figure out like a path we should take and where to go next. There is something to be said about planning ahead, but also we've been lucky enough that we've gone enough now that we kind of get to take our time and relax a little bit, which is awesome too.
Yes, definitely relaxing. That's where Jessica comes in. Take breaks in the middle of the day to rest.
Definitely, it gets hot in the middle of the day. You don't necessarily need to leave the park and go back to your hotel, though. There are plenty of places in each park that are air conditioned or shaded. Some of our favorite things to do is to go chill out in the hub at Magic Kingdom, grab a snack and sit in the grass. And at Animal Kingdom, there's a spot. You have to help me where it is. It's kind of to the, like if you're looking at the quick service for Yak and Yeti, it's to the left of it, down by the water, right?
Yeah, I believe it's almost right across from the bird show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonders of Flight, I believe is what they're calling it right now. But yeah, you can find a spot. It's right on the river, and with all of those great boats going by right now, the flotillas with all the characters, it's a nice, cool spot to sit in the shade. We've had some breakfast there. It was wonderful. Watched a couple of the flotillas go by. You have a front row seat to those flotillas then, and you can interact with the characters as they go by one-on-one, which is really nice because there's not a lot of people that go sit over there. So Yak and Yeti Local Foods Cafe, the quick service, you can grab some breakfast and go sit there. That was one thing that we did. The other thing as far as taking breaks, it could even be a break when you're just getting some air conditioning and still enjoying an attraction. Like, a lot of people like to say they go take a nice nap in Carousel of Progress. I don't recommend the nap part, but it is a great place to go and catch some air conditioning, enjoy a historical show, not just because they're going through history, but also because it's historical to Disney history. Very important to them. They all, you can also in Magic Kingdom hit up PhilharMagic, the Tiki Room. This is all going to give you a good 15 to 20 minute break in the air conditioning. PhilharMagic's queue is inside, so that's got air conditioning going there too. So great ways to do that. You can find a lot of things like this in Epcot with the movies in World Showcase. You can spend time in the aquarium where it's all air conditioned there. That's a great place. You might be still running around, but you could find a place to sit and enjoy watching manatees or the dolphins. It's a great aquarium that they have there. Where else? Like in Hollywood Studios, what can you do there?
I don't know. I was going to go to Animal Kingdom and say the Festival of Lion King is a great way to cool off there.
Also, the Finding Nemo show is back, and that's a great place you can get air conditioning. It used to be open air, but they've closed that off now, and it's all air conditioned. So that's a good 25-minute show, and you're going to be in there a little early so you can get a good half an hour break in there from the heat. Getting into Dinosaur, that's a pretty long queue that's inside. So that'll give you a break from the heat. And over in Avatar, Flight of Passage, a lot of that is indoors. So, other than the shows, that's some places you can go. Hollywood Studios is difficult. It's hot there with a lot of the queues, because what happens when the Imagineers are creating these new rides and parks and lands and all this, they don't think about what the guest is going to experience as far as waiting. They're just thinking about theming. They want to make sure that the theming is appropriate. So when you're looking at Toy Story Land, they didn't put any cover for like Slinky Dog or Alien Swirling Saucers, because the theming was a backyard. So there's not a lot of cover in a backyard unless you're putting up a gazebo or something. So to be in a yard, you're not going to have a lot of cover. And so they didn't really think about that. So now you see a lot of umbrellas along the queue line, especially this extended queue they have for Slinky Dog now. So, finding ways to get into air conditioning there is also good. You've got the Star Wars launch bay that just reopened. That's a good spot to catch air conditioning. You can take your time looking at some of the displays there, and you can also meet characters. You can go to Frozen, the sing-along version there. That'll get you a good half an hour break into the air conditioning.
The Disney Junior Dance Party, too, is a good place if you have younger kids.
Or you just enjoy dancing and having a good time in air conditioning, right? Star Tours is a good place to get some air conditioning. It might not be a very long time that you'd be in it, but you come out into the gift shop there, and that's still air conditioned. So a few places, and of course, anywhere in Disney World that you want to grab a meal, right? Except maybe the quick services. You're not going to find a lot of seating inside, but you'll be able to sit down at a table or restaurant pretty much anywhere and find somewhere to sit. So I hope those are some good tips to go along with take a break in the middle of the day. Marianne wanted to mention also bring lots of money. Carrie and Melanie also they're giving us some information on that. Tennis shoes, and Melanie says pack good shoes and be prepared to pay a lot. So, it is an expensive trip. We've talked about how it's not necessarily the most expensive trip. I see people wearing most expensive day ever type shirts when I'm there, and I kind of chuckle because I don't think it has to be. They definitely have the experiences to make you spend a lot of money, but that's something that you can research, and we've given you a lot of tips on how to save money. So while it's expensive, I think you can do a good job with saving some money as well. So Brian has also written in, don't stress if something doesn't go to plan, because it won't at some point. Go to Disney, enjoy being at Disney. Don't let doing everything stop you from enjoying the stuff you are doing. And I think that's really a good thing to say too, because you want to enjoy what you're doing. So don't let things bother you too much. I see so many people go in and start complaining to cast members because something went wrong, and it's, I know they're expecting something. They're expecting Disney magic. Well, that's not when you're going to get that magic. Step back and enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy what's going on. Know that not everything is going to work out correctly, the way you plan. And in the extreme cases, Disney will fix it. But don't expect, a few popcorn kernels to fall on the floor and be showered with gifts. You can definitely have a good time and not need Disney cast members to bail you out on every little thing. I go fully expecting to not have to converse with a cast member, and if I do, it goes well, and I don't expect anything. So be sure to be considerate of others and be nice to the cast members as you're going through your day, and hopefully something would happen that will shower some extra magic, but don't expect it.
Yeah, I think sometimes people have unrealistic expectations because it is the most magical place on earth is what they always tell you, but it's like any other vacation. Things do happen, things do go wrong, but you just need to appreciate the things that are awesome, like seeing your kids smile the first time they meet a character, or their first time on a ride. Just appreciate all of that stuff, and don't focus on the few negative things that may go wrong. And the cast members are amazing. Like, if you do interact with them, they're always awesome people. They're always willing to talk to you. And I feel like the extra magic happens when you're not expecting it. Like, we've been lucky enough that we've gotten extra magic a few times. Like, our daughter was given free ice cream a few times. Our youngest daughter and a couple friends we were with were given 3 free stuffed animals. Just randomly, we were walking by the gift shop in the Contemporary, and one of the cast members came out and said, "Hey, we have these. Would they like them?" And you just never know when it's going to happen.
That's so true, that it's the little things that make it magical, not necessarily the big free things that you might be given. Brian also added to his comment, he said, "A lot of people get angry and so stressed because of agendas, timelines, and pre-planned days. When we go, we pick our favorite rides that are a must-do, and what we need to ride. Everything else we just do on a whim. We take in the sights, see things we've never noticed before, and just simply have fun. We don't rush anywhere. If we make it, we make it. If not, we find something else to do or eat." This is great. Like, it's hard being people from Wisconsin that are going every other year or so, that it's hard to take the time and do something like this. But if you can plan your days that this is that managing expectations, right? If you can plan your day so that you can only have the few rides that you want to hit, and then you can go and pick out a couple of things after that that are available to you during the day, that's just kind of icing on the cake, as Brian was alluding to. Like, that's a great way to do it. It's not as stressful, and it's probably going to be more fun.
Yeah, and like, if you're in line for a ride that you all want to go on and it's coming up on a dinner reservation that you have, don't leave the ride to go to the dinner reservation unless it's like a top reservation for you, something you really want to go to. Or if you're at your resort and your daughter's playing pool games and you have a dinner reservation, don't make her leave the pool games to go to your dinner reservation, because there's always somewhere to get food at Disney. Like, unless you're going to like Beauty and the Beast or Cinderella's Royal Table or some California Grill, something that's really high up on your list, it's not worth it to leave something just to rush to it. You can always call and see if you can schedule it for later, or you can just cancel it and go find something else.
So the one trick with that is that you're supposed to cancel within 24 hours. But if like in the short time type of examples that Tammy just gave, if you're running into issues like that, giving them a call and letting them know what's going on can help. Getting through on a Disney phone line isn't the best thing to do right now. It can take a lot of weight, right? So the other trick in that case is that if you're deciding that you're just not going to do the dining altogether, go into the reservation and reschedule it for week, 2 weeks, whatever it takes to reschedule that reservation for later. And then after you've rescheduled it, you can go in and cancel it. That's how you can get around that 24-hour deadline if you can't get through to somebody. I have canceled within that 24-hour time limit, and they've waived it when I've asked about, am I still going to get charged that $10 a person? Oh, we'll take care of that. You don't have to worry about that. So, it's something to think about as you're going through your day, and, those reservations may not always work out. So, be sure to consider what else you could be doing instead of running off to that reservation. And we were just talking about this, Tammy and I. We were thinking about our trip last year, and I had made reservations at 3:30, 4 o'clock for dinner, which is early for us. We don't like that, but it was all we could get. And part of the reason we had booked Contemporary is that we wanted the pool activities for our daughter to be able to partake in while we're having pool days. So it would get to be 2:30, 3 o'clock. Oh no, we need to get ready for our dinner reservation. Well, the games don't start until 3 o'clock. So she missed them every time because we were running off to dinner. And this is why we were talking about it. Like, I'm not going to make reservations like that again. And if we're sitting at the pool and everyone's having fun and the games are coming up that she's going to enjoy, I'm not going to run off to dinner anymore. So live and learn, I guess. That's one of those things that you can learn from and get better at as you keep going. So along the lines of being nice to cast members, Paulie wanted to write in and let us know that we all need to be patient with our cast members and manage expectations while we're there. Paulie says, contrary to what the commercials lead you to believe, Cinderella, Mickey, nor any of the Disney characters for that matter will take your hand and walk you through the parks. The amount of times I got yelled at by guests because of this. One time I had a Coke thrown at me, but it was 105 and it felt amazing, and managers gave me an hour to decompress and get a new outfit from costuming. This goes back to let's be nice to the cast members. Like Disney's commercials are going to make you think that you need to be there and get all these great things. That's what they need. That's what they're meant for, right? I do know that I have seen some videos where characters may grab a hand and do something special. That is rare. That is something that is one of those magic moments that people will enjoy for the rest of their lives thinking about, but you're not necessarily going to get that all over. Alice, I know a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times in the morning, if you're the first guest to visit Alice, she will actually go ride the teacups with you. I think that is pretty cool, and again, it's a rare thing, but if you're lucky enough to enjoy something like that, that is something that you should be extremely happy with and feel special about. So hopefully that's something that one of our listeners someday could enjoy. Let us know if that's something that you have done. That would be cool to talk about. But like the characters have limited time. There's a lot of guests they need to get to. So being able to just kind of say hello, ask them about their character, who they are, and they all know their storylines. So, they can help you, or they can talk to you about that as you interact with them.
Yeah, definitely. Those have been some of the best character interactions we've had, is if you just ask them a question, like from their movie. Like, we asked Pocahontas, or I think I told her I liked her necklace, and she went into a whole story about how Miko had collected the jewels and made it for her. And if you just ask them a question, you'll get even more of an interaction other than just your typical like handshake or hug, which is pretty. I thought that was pretty cool. We also had a really cool interaction one time with Flick, where he was like doing, I guess there wasn't a lot of people waiting in line to see him, so that might have helped it, but he was doing like all these poses with us. I think we had like 20 pictures with him. We were with him for a long time.
Yeah, we had buttons on that said we were celebrating our anniversary, so he had us making heart-shaped our arms were in like the shape of a heart. It was really cool how Flick was the one that was doing all of that with us and continued it. We also had a really great interaction with Joy and Sadness. We kind of took on the emotions of the character. So I was Joy and Tammy was Sadness, and we would stand next to them and act the same, and they just ate it up. Like, they thought that was the greatest thing, and they kept the helper wanted to move us along, And Joy stopped us, and was like, no, let's do more pictures. So any way that you can interact with them in a unique way or a fun way, I think can really add to the experience that you're going to have with these characters. Yeah, let's not throw Coke at people though, characters or helpers. That's not good. So during the money talk, I mentioned a couple of comments about shoes and footwear. While I was under the age of 40, I always wore flip-flops. I had a good pair of flip-flops that I loved wearing, and that's what I chose to wear in the parks, and had a great time, no problems. As I got older, I started having some issues from doing that, though. Lots of steps in flip-flops is probably not the best thing for me to do, so I have gone to a well-broken pair of tennis shoes, not a brand new pair of shoes. Make sure you've broken them in before you go, and that you're comfortable in them. You don't want to break in a new pair of shoes there. Can you imagine if you put on a brand new pair of shoes and start having blisters? I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, we've been there before where some of our kids have worn shoes that gave them blisters, and it does not make for a fun day. I would suggest if you are carrying a bag in, maybe just grab some really cheap, thin flip-flops for everyone, just for the water rides, because I know my kids get cranky when their feet are all wet. So that's the only tip I have on that. But yeah, definitely a well-worn pair of shoes, nothing brand new. If you go and Google like best sandals, best shoes for Disney, there's a ton of suggestions out there too if there's certain brands you want to try.
I've seen a lot of people asking about Crocs, if those are great for the parks. I think the best thing to think about with shoes is, I've read a lot of tips. I've read a lot of information about how to get ready for a trip. And one of the things that I've seen is to start walking, because you're going to be walking upwards of 5 miles maybe some days or more, because there are a lot of places that you need to get to. You might be crisscrossing the parks, so you're going to be putting on a lot of steps. We did, on our last trip, we did Animal Kingdom in the morning and then hit up at Epcot later in the day for Flower and Garden Festival. And I think we put almost 30,000 steps on that day. And, doing the math that they do on there, that's 15 miles. That's more than we normally would do. I think we normally hit 20,000. And I think that's what it was the last couple of days that we were there, was roughly 20,000 steps in the day. But still, that's 10 miles that you're going to be putting on. So the more walking you can do leading up to your trip can help. And, while you're doing that, that's when you're breaking in your shoes. That's when you're finding what kind of shoes you want to use. So, this is something that you need to think about when you're miles from Main Street, because you're not going to get there very often. And when you're not getting there very often, you're trying to go as fast as you can and get to as many spots as you can. And to do that, you're going to be walking a lot, and you're going to need good shoes. So I know we all like to go out and do our vacation, just whatever happens. That, a lot of people prefer to do that. But Disney is a different kind of vacation. It's not something that you're going to be doing a lot of sitting around. So it's good to prepare for it. I don't walk 10 miles a day, so I'm going to try to get out and get ready for that before I go. So I want to thank everybody that left a comment out on Facebook. That was great to have a discussion there. If you guys haven't joined us on Facebook yet, it would be great to have you out there. We do have different topics coming up every day, and have great conversations with everyone that's out there, and we get these great tips. This is normally where I would say, please go check our website, www.milesfrommainsT.com. But as I said at the top, we just need you guys to go out and share this with people. If you're enjoying it and you love our what we're talking about, please go share this with others. So Tammy, thank you so much for helping me out today. It was great having you again as a guest on the show. Mikhailo should be back next week with me, and we'll be able to keep moving along. But that's all we've got for you this week. But as we always like to say, some live close,
and others don't.
so let's talk about it.